You may be wondering what a bunch of RGB lights are doing on a microphone, and you wouldn't be alone. I don't quite get it, but I do see how this could be an attractive mic feature for maybe live stream gamers or even commentary type channels. So let's proceed with that in mind. Thank you to Comica for sending through their RGB UMic for testing. Also, thank you to the folks at Comica for giving me a little bit of an extension on this video. We have 20 days from the date of receiving the item, but I got sick and I had no voice, but it's back evidently. So here it is. This is the microphone, the colorful microphone, which you could also opt to display like this, kind of show off its wood-like appearance. I don't think that this is wood, I think it's plastic, but it looks sleek and wood-like. Let's give you a little look at the lights. Turn this on. Give it a little twist. There we go. And just making sure that your voice is near this source over here. The C, which I'm presuming stands for Comica. In the box, you open it up to reveal the microphone in a soft, cushiony foam bed, twisty-turny little mic, or sleek, slender, twisty-turny mic. You also get some documentation, stuff to read, the manual, you know, stuff like that. You'll also find a base, which is weighted very nicely. It's weighted for confidence, so you can be sure that you won't knock it over, or you can knock it over, but it's weighted nicely. And of course the cable, which fits the mic via USB-C to either your laptop or your PC, or to your phone via USB-C, or you can use the USB type A. You'll need an adapter if you want to record into your iPhone. Now, this twisty mic has an inbuilt preamp. Previous mics that I've used for plugging straight into my computer have required something like this over here. This little module or computer card over here, a sound card that allows for your computer or your laptop to recognize that the input is that of a mic. These things generally also have sockets for your headphone jack as well, and you no longer need this. You can plug this straight into your laptop, straight into your computer, your PC, your Mac, via USB-C or the USB type A. And because the preamp is inbuilt, you have a headphone jack over here. You have that little socket for your headphone jack, and it's a good old plug and play. If the lights are your thing, you have 7 different light settings which will react to your audio input. Now, this is a Cardioid condenser microphone, and this basically means that it picks up audio from an area or a zone surrounding it in sort of like this heart-shaped like pattern. Any audio from outside that area won't be picked up appropriately or to a certain extent, which for the purposes of what this microphone was made for, it's a studio mic, is great. Now, just for an example, check out a segment of this video where my phone rang and it didn't affect my voice at all, didn't affect the recording. I did nothing to this audio. This is how it was recorded. So I didn't edit out the phone sound. At least you have a workaround that works if this happens to you in the future. And that's it. So I think what happened there is, I think the phone sound was identified as noise, which this mic internally is set to correct for. It's either that or it's the cardioid pattern of which the phone sound fell outside of. Because of this cardioid pattern, this microphone was made for close audio. You do want to get quite close to it. You don't want to do this from far away, because if you record from far away, you might pick up some unnecessary reverb. But if reverb is something that you want, Comica have you covered. So here's reverb setting 1. Now, I don't know exactly why this would be necessary. Here's reverb setting 2. But I'm sure that there are many scenarios where one would need to record audio like this. Let's go on to reverb setting 3. And here is reverb setting 3. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually I get to a point where I'm recording some sort of project where I would need one of these, but for now, I'm moving this. You're probably picking up some noise. It's not particularly useful for me, but let's take it back. And I know that I'm in the right recording setting because my little indicator light there is set to purple. And if I'm wrong, then the rest of the video is going to be reverby. Now, for some background information about some of the various mics that I've used and tested over the few years, the happiest that I've been with audio recording of my voice has been back when I used my Comica CVM VM 10.2, which I purchased in 2020. I always thought that I preferred that sound quality of my voice recording because I was recording in a fully carpeted room. That mic has since moved on to my action cam setup, but I've brought it out here to compare some audio from two Comica microphones, both of which are cardioid condenser microphones, one of which, this RGB UMic, has an internal noise correction, an internal noise floor correction compensation feature within the software. So right off, before I show you the audio so that you can hear it, Julia, after watching some of my recent YouTube videos, immediately noted a sharper tone to my voice. It was sharper. But listen to these sounds and then you can decide for yourself, and you can determine how you like the internal noise cancellation feature of the Comica RGB UMic. I mean, I'm sorry if I'm a bit scatterbrained today. I'm still recovering from being ill, but listen. This is the Comica CVM VM 10.2. This was purchased in 2020, so this is not the Mark II version. It's plugged into my laptop with a sound module, sound card recording thing. I already know that this will have a prominent noise floor, so I'm going to reduce that as you hear my voice. This is the noise reduction in Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, what I'm most curious about is how this corrected audio will compare to the Comica RGB UMic's internal noise correction. And this is the Comica RGB UMic with no modifications except for maybe some gain applied in post. How do we like this automatic noise reduction compared to my manually applied noise reduction in post? And how does this affect the overall feel of my voice? Is my voice sharper here? Let's see that in 3, 2, 1. And back again with the Comica CVM VM 10.2 with noise correction applied in post. And now I'm going to take it back to the audio as recorded, where you'll most probably hear a bunch of noise. From my limited analysis, in other words, just from listening to this, I can say that the noise reduction works well, but it is at the expense of the overall warmth of my voice. Now, do keep in mind that I was probably a tad bit too close to the mics for this test, given that I didn't have a pop filter. So do take that into consideration. Now, for individuals that are recording at their desk and want a straightforward workflow where they don't mind or are not as pedantic as I am when it comes to a tiny loss of the warmer feel of the voice. Perhaps individuals that aren't too keen to worry about the voice editing in post. Can you hear the car outside? That'll be a cool test. You know, people who want a straightforward plug and play that will record your audio and correct for that noise floor. This is pretty decent. For me, myself, I guess you could say that I have a higher pitched voice, and I don't know that this would be the best mic for that, if that is the main factor that I'm considering. And I say this as an editor that is happy to go into the audio track and manually remove some of the noise, just enough to not significantly affect the pitch of my voice. Pitch isn't the right word. I don't know what the right word is. I'm sorry, I keep knocking this so you might hear it. If you don't, but I'm not sure that this is something that most people would notice anyway, though. I'm referring to the lack of the removal of the warmth in my voice. If the mild effects on the voice do not contribute as a negative factor for you, then the built-in preamp, making it a hassle-free plug-and-play for your studio setup, the aesthetically pleasing design, and the built-in battery might make it a convenient option for you. The two additional selling points of this mic, I'd say, are more for gamers, live streamers, and possibly commentary type of YouTube channels. And those are the RGB effects, which are kind of a moot point for me. I don't think I'll be using these. These will probably stay off. I only put these on for the commercial photo and video that I put together for Comica Audio. And of course the reverb effects. I'll probably eventually encounter a situation or a project where one or more or three of the reverb effects will be used, but for now I don't think that is, for the most part, I don't think the reverb effects are going to be of any use to me, unless I ended up using them by accident now, in which case ignore everything I just said. Maybe I will use that. Ignore me, I'm ill. Having said that, I'm sure that there is a niche of creators that will use this all the time, I'm sure. Having said all of this, I will keep using the microphone. I'm going to test out whether I can reintroduce some warmth to my voice in post. What I do appreciate about this is that it seems to do a good job in keeping out those distracting outside noises. I've got noise going on right outside here. Not only the noise contamination, the noise floor, but the wind. There's some hustle and bustle occurring outside, and I get the feeling you won't hear it. I appreciate the sleek design, given it a non-invasive, minimal form factor, which is aesthetically pleasing. It can just sit on my desk and not really contribute to like a messy clutter feel on my desk. As a straightforward plug-and-play microphone that automatically reduces unwanted noise, it does the job pretty well. If you're interested in getting one of these, feel free to check out the affiliate link, my Amazon affiliate link, which is linked below. And I think we're gonna leave it at that. I am not doing a very job today, folks. Please forgive me. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to Comica for sending this through, and I'll catch you in the next video. Wow.